Hey, dude, what's going on?
Not too much.
You feel like doing a podcast today?
Yeah. Let's do a podcast.
What, what is that?
This is the game plan. This is episode 20, man. I thought we really need to get serious with this podcast.
Serious? You're gonna use
Yeah.
a Denny's menu for episode
Yeah.
20?
It's not a menu. It's a game plan. Like
No,
coaches use.
no, that's a menu. It's got pictures of waffles and pancakes on it. You can't
It,
use that.
it's really not. It's a game plan. I really think we should use it. You know, I'm dead ass.
I'm only gonna say this once. All right. You cannot use the Waffle House menu during our 20th podcast. I'm dead ass.
The following presentation has been brought to you by HSF Productions.
The Impromptu Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Nick and David.
Hey guys, welcome back to IWP, the Impromptu Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Tally006. Over to my left, as always, is my brother Damien. How you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It was a big week. Canada Day this week. Exciting stuff. Happy birthday to Canada. All that good jazz. This week was supposed to be country. Go ahead.
Did you do anything for Canada Day?
Not really. I mean, I got drunk. Me and the boys
That's
got drunk
something.
and played Call of Duty and Uno all night, so that was a good time.
Oh yeah, right. I was watching.
Yeah.
I was gonna come in, but Sticky was on, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not bad.
It was a good time, and we took the opportunity to lay into Function a little bit, and because he's the American, so we really rubbed the Canadiana in his face the other night, so it was good. It was good. But yeah, it was supposed to be Country Fest this weekend. Dauphins Country Fest, for anybody who knows, is a really big deal here in Dauphin. It was canceled because of COVID, but it is what it is. It was a good week nonetheless, and excited for this weekend for sure.
Cool.
We're gonna make up for it. But we have a big show coming up today. All the usual good stuff: BTE, AEW Dark, as well as night one is of Fight for the Fallen. However, we do have some big news to cover in a special edition of Breaking Kayfabe, so let's get right into that. EC3, topic of discussion today. As much as AEW wanted us to think that Ricky Starks was the hottest free agent and, they signed him up after his match with Cody and all that stuff, to me, EC3 always has been the hottest free agent on the market right now. And he's putting forth his effort with all these pre-recorded videos. And, we got another one the other day. I think it was Tuesday, the 30th. Big news. Did you see? Did you watch? What were your thoughts on EC3?
I haven't seen the latest one, but I have been keeping up with all of the other ones that he's put out. And I would agree with you. Ricky Stark's not the number one guy out there. It is obviously EC3. Someone needs to sign this guy, and wherever he goes, he's going to be absolute gold for sure. 100%.
For sure. So there's been a lot of talks. Everybody, the Meltzers, the Wade Kellers, all the Smarks of the world, if you will, they're sure he's going back to Impact. But in this video, this promo, EC3 is dropping AEW references and names and whatnot. And as you can see on the image on the screen right now, he even puts up the All Elite Wrestling logo. He's got this kind of projector going. It's really cool. It's a really cool promo. If you haven't seen it, I'll do my best to remember to link it in the description below so you guys can check it out. Definitely think you should go check it out, Damien. But yeah, this promo, he's dropping names. He's talking about. He does it so subtly. You know what I mean? The way this was written, the way this was executed, performed, it was so good. He's saying things like how you can't fear the revolt, and we're living in an American nightmare. You got to walk through life with moxie, finding your way through the jungle, boy. Like the way he says some of these things is so clever. Keep your inner circle close. Just very, very clever stuff from EC3. I'm having a hard time believing that he's going to Impact over AEW.
Yeah, and I think that too, just because in these uncertain times, I think you have to make the safe choice and go with a company that is bigger.
Right.
Normally I would say it's not a bad thing to go to the not so bigger company. It's better to be the big fish in a smaller company than a small fish in a bigger company, which is what he's already been through, really, I think. So I think the smart choice would be to go with AEW because he'll do well and there's a place for him there and they will use him.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with all that. He's done the Impact thing before. He's a multi-time Impact World Champion. I feel like he's the kind of guy who needs new challenges to keep him motivated and stuff like that. And I mean, just look at this, since being released, all the progress he's made as a character, reinventing himself. You've mentioned it in conversation that he's kind of dropped the 1%er persona and he's a little bit darker. He's a little bit grittier as JR.
Yeah, just even simple thing as just not shaving.
Right.
He's not that clean cut guy anymore. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah. So big things coming out of coming from EC3. I really, really hope that he lands his feet in AEW. I think he would fit well there. There's, like you said, there's a spot for him there. We could use another bigger guy. We're getting Brody Lee, Brian Cage, an EC3 would fit in really well. Wardlow, another guy. So, yeah, I'm praying EC3 lands in the AEW. That's all there's to it.
Yeah, and if it does happen, I really hope it happens with the crowd.
Yeah,
because he deserves the pop that he will get.
Oh, for sure.
When he walks out.
I mean, we can mention it really quickly. Like this guy was grossly misused in the Vanilla brand, grossly, and anything they gave him, as stupid or corny as it was, he made it work. And I don't know if they ever really noticed when he was on TV and how bored he looked. I thought was a great character trait, which kind of leads into what we're seeing with these video packages. When he was like having to run after the 24/7 championship, he'd just do this first. He'd be like,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if you think back when we were watching Vanilla Brand, like when we would talk about the show after, like EC3 was like the best part. It's like, you remember when they were doing the 4th of July show and they had a picnic and EC3's just sitting there not throwing any food? Like, he was the best part of that segment.
Big food fight and he's just sitting there sipping his punch like nothing's going on. It's classic. Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, again, just to reiterate, I'm praying. Tony Khan, I know you're watching. Cody, I know you're watching for sure. Sign this guy. Get the talks. It's obviously he wants to go to come to AEW. I don't know why else you would drop so much names and content, if you weren't trying to trying to buy your way in. So big stuff coming from EC3. I can't wait to see more. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely.
All right, but with that said, let's keep the show moving along and let's get right into being the elite. It was a better episode than the last couple. And I mean, we've been very critical and kind of hard on the guys being the elite in the last few weeks, but
you think so?
I mean,
I think they were phoning it in. I think they just weren't as good.
All right, so we're gonna continue this heavy criticism against them.
No, I agree with you. I thought this week was much better. I really enjoyed this week, actually.
Yeah, so did I. The bits were just executed better. They were funnier. We got a cool little vlog. There's a vlog section with Matt Jackson, and Nick kind of shows up late, and he almost turns it into a bit. I thought was cool because it was just like, where the hell have you been? Like, kind of thing. So everything about this episode was good. What did you think of the cold open with them all singing the Chili's theme song there?
I thought they did it really well. I don't really get it.
I mean, that was kind of the meme back in like 2001, even pre-2000, I guess. Is that like Justin Timberlake was singing the Chili's commercials, Chili's baby back ribs, and then you saw it on Austin Powers with Fat Bastard and everything like that. Like that was kind of the meme back then. I don't know if this is just an old joke that they're bringing back. Or what because these guys are Cracker Barrel guys, right? Like they always.
That's what I was thinking.
So yeah. To me, it was kind of out of left field. But I mean, yeah, they did it well. I like how Kenny's all like, hey, I'm hungry. I gotta go eat. Anybody want to go down to catering? And Matt Jackson's like, man, catering sucks lately. It's been garbage. He's like, well, what do you want? And then he starts snapping his fingers, and they're like, oh, yeah, I know what you want. And I love how Hangman's just sitting there on his phone. He's just sitting in the corner with his beer, and he's just like, all of a sudden, he's like, Chile! Like,
he's
out
got
of
a pretty
nowhere.
good voice, eh?
Yeah, he does, actually. But yeah, it was a good bit. And then I like how they reprise it later on in the episode when Colt's going to do his Kenny bit. He's going to go bug Kenny to come chase him because he's missing the fight with Kenny, and he just opens the door and it's from the other side and they're still singing away. And he's like, I'm just going to leave these guys alone.
But see, that's what I think we've been missing. Like, continue the stories, but don't do the same thing every week.
Right.
So here we got Colt, but it was different. Like, it was something different.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they melted those two pieces together was even better.
So what I meant to do but never did is I wanted to go back and watch BTE again to see that opening, the cold open from the front perspective. Do you see the door open at one point and Colt's head peek in? I didn't notice. I think it was an afterthought and they recreated it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we would have noticed if Colt would have peeked in.
Right.
Possibly the door opened, but I don't
didn't
remember
see his face,
Colt.
right?
Yeah.
But even if the door opened, like, that's genius.
Yeah.
If that was all planned, that would have been pure genius.
For me, and don't laugh. Don't go all dead ass on me. But I think
what are you talking about?
Long John Silver and his buddy were the best part of this entire episode.
I mean,
like,
they were nervous.
Seriously, they showed off they have some talent. I think they need to bring these guys back. And the Spanglish stuff they did was awesome. So I hope to see those guys in it again.
I enjoyed their participation in the episode, but I mean, Long John Silver, man, like he he looked like he was so nervous that he was like, he was so giddy about everything he did, and it just came off kind of goofy. But maybe that's part of the shtick, maybe. But I could see if they calmed down and got more opportunities, because this is the first time we've seen them on, besides standing in the background, Brody Lee smacking them around and stuff like that. But if they get in more bits like this and get comfortable, yeah, I could see that these guys have some comedic timing. I love how straight face Alex Riley was when they were talking to Orange Cassidy and he's like pouring the Kool-Aid. He didn't crack at all.
Right.
And
yeah, it's I get what you're saying, and I wonder.
It's kind of like
it's
kind of like how you felt about Kenny and how he's just kind of like he's so over the top. That's kind of what I felt like with John, but
it could be absolute gold because it's in contrast to what their characters are on every other platform, right? They're Dark Order, they're scary, whatever, but really they're just these idiot guys.
Right.
I don't know. Because even Brody Lee is different on BTE than he is.
He's a little bit louder, kind of,
yeah,
a little more brash and stuff like that.
Hangman, you signed up on the website? Really?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I totally forgot about that he grabbed the flyer. He grabbed the little ticket off the poster and some BTE bits called in. And I like that they brought that back. And it was just like, hey, I just wanted to know that I just wanted you to know that, I never heard back from you guys, and I, filled out the form and everything like that. And Brody gets into the room. He's like, we could have had Hangman. We could have had Paige. You just start smacking the shit out of everybody.
Do you not like whiskey?
But I like how he smacks John, and then he smacks Riley with the fucking paper stack, and then he calls Evil Uno, and he's like, you got a stack of papers? Hit yourself over the head with it. We could have had Hangman. Yeah, that was fucking gold, man. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited, or I'm excited for the possibility that the Dark Order guys are going to be more involved with BTE, and we kind of, like you said, see that contrast from their characters that we see on Dynamite. If we're being honest, I'm excited for when Anna Jay gets involved in all this, because I think she'll be really good in this platform for being.
Oh yeah, or Skylar Moore, but we can talk about that later.
Sure. All right. Well, let's just get right into it. Let's get into AEW Dark. What did we have?
All right. Well, we didn't have the number of matches we typically have in a Dark, but it was about an hour long. In the first match, we had Sean Spears, the Canadian, defeating Max Caster. In the second match, we had Lance Archer facing Pineapple Pete, and Lance Archer going over on that one. In match 3, we had the new guy, Ricky Starks, defeating Jungle Boy 2.0, we'll say.
Right.
2. In match 4, we had Scorpio Sky in singles action against Brady Pierce, and Scorpio Sky defeating Brady in that match. In match 5, my anticipated match here, we had Brandy and Allie teaming up in a group. There's Justin called the Nightmare Sisters.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, Nightmare Sisters. Brandy did not hesitate in correcting him, though. She
grabbed the mic right away.
Did not want to be called a sister to Allie.
We are not related. They defeated Kylan King and Skylar Moore. In match number 6, we had the Butcher and the Blade back in action. They defeated Lowrider and Fuego del Sol. And in the main event, we had the Young Bucks defeating Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler, who we thought were no longer a tag team, but back together for this Dark.
Right. So, like, we should talk about that. That was kind of a segment that we missed talking about in Being the Elite, how the Young Bucks told Brandon to check his phone. he had an email that was explaining how they were going to have this matchup on Dark. It was kind of throwing back, reprising that bit when they presented Cutler with the contracts, and he's crying, and then a couple weeks ago when he was talking about his past year in AEW and how he still hasn't had a win, but it's been life-changing, and he's crying again. So the whole bit is them trying to get Cutler to cry, but he's just pissed off because he had just broken up with Peter Avalon. They're not a tag team anymore, and now they're forcing them to get back together with them. So I thought that was all really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Did they call him a wuss?
Yeah, probably.
They're like, he's gonna start crying for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was a really clever tie-in with being the Elite and Brandon Cutler and getting that all together. But taking a quick look at the Young Bucks versus Avalon and Cutler, like, this was a really good match. And Cutler and Avalon actually started working together, and they were getting some really good offense in. I wonder if this is a reprisal. Are they going to stick together for a little while longer to help drag this storyline out a bit? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit weird to me that they did kind of break up so soon, especially when it was working. Like, they were working well. We liked how they were working in BTE together. So it was a bit disappointing. I think it works for them to get back together and keep it going and eventually lead to one of these guys actually winning.
Right.
And I'm going to make the prediction right now.
Okay, here we go.
I think it's going to be Avalon. And the reason I pick Avalon is I think he's going to do a better job of throwing it in Cutler's face.
Right. That's a good point.
Like, it's going to elevate his sort of heel status, Right. What do you think about these guys getting back together?
I mean, I liked it. I liked how the story of this match progressed and how, how they actually, like, this is the best they've worked together. Like, they had some near falls. They looked like they were almost going to get the win, even though it was pretty obvious they weren't. But, yeah, I'm excited that this is my favorite storyline in all of AEW right now. It honestly is. It's the one that's been going the longest. It's been keeping me entertained. These two guys are entertaining in their own little dumb ways, but it's entertaining. I can't stop watching. I agree with you. I think this is all leading. I think my prediction still has to happen where they wrestle each other and nobody wins, goes to a time limit draw, or whatever it is. I think that has to happen. I agree with the idea that Avalon goes over just so he can throw it in Cutler's face and whatnot. I think that makes sense. So I'm excited. I want to see where this goes further. I also wanted to bring up, talk a little bit about the Lance Archer Pineapple Pete match.
Oh yeah, me too.
If you guys haven't listened to the Talk is Jericho episode with Pineapple Pete, Sugar Dunkerton, it's a really good podcast, and they basically talk about the whole, uprise or arrival of Pineapple Pete, how it all went down, how Jericho just saw a goofy guy on the monitor wearing a pineapple button-up shirt, and Pineapple Pete, I hate that guy, and all of a sudden Pineapple Pete's the biggest name in the company, number one seller, t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees, all this stuff. Now, when we first saw Pineapple Pete, I was very, very hard on this guy, very, very critical. He's not a good wrestler. And leading into the whole match with Jericho, which they go into They go into detail about how the match was all set up and put together and all that stuff. I was like, hey, well, we'll see how he looks up against a veteran, the GOAT. How does this all play out? How does he look when he's in there with the best? And I mean, he did look better. The way they built that match, how Pineapple Pete really pushed the pace and was getting in all the offense, and then it only took the one Judas effect for Jericho to get the win. I thought that was clever, and it made Pete look good. It made Jericho look good. It made the Judas effect look even better. All that stuff. Now fast forward to this match against Lance Archer, and I mean, I'm back to where I was. Pineapple Pete, Sugar Dunkerton, whatever you want to call him, is not a good wrestler. He might have the character aspects, but he just can't do it in the ring right now. He's got to put in a lot of work. And that's just my honest opinion on him. What did you think of Pineapple Pete in this match?
Yeah, I would agree with you with all that. And I wonder if also it's a bit of, just wanting it too bad and trying too hard. And, he's a very, it's like a hurry up wrestler. Like he's doing all of the moves very fast. Like has them memorized and he just needs to make them all happen. Where he could probably do with a little bit of pausing, catch your breath, do the next move with more confidence. He's not the most in shape guy either. So I think he has that going against him is he just maybe tries too hard.
Right.
Because he probably wants it really bad. But I won't disagree with you. He needs to put in a lot of work to get better. If I was to get the ear of Cody and the boys, I would say that really what they should do with this guy is put him in a faction, like possibly Dark Order or something, and have him sort of a secondary character until he can get better. Constantly training every week. And then when he gets better, then put him back on TV.
Right.
The most shocking part of this actual match is that it didn't end in 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
And I thought this match went quite a long time.
Again, I wonder if that has something to do with the Jericho match and how they built the Jericho match. Maybe that's what they were going for in this one, is that he gets in a lot of offense, but it only takes one or two moves to put him away. But yeah,
you're probably right.
I agree with everything he said about putting him into faction. I think that works well. As you were saying that, it kind of popped into my brain that he's kind of like Buff Bagwell, circa NWO 1998. He's just this goofy guy, can't wrestle worth shit, but he was a character and he was an entertaining. And if you threw him in a faction, he got on TV and the guy got over. I mean, WCW versus NWO World Tour, I picked Buff Bagwell once in a while.
Right,
just to see him come out in that top hat. So, yeah, there's definitely a spot for Pineapple Pete in the company. I think if he gets working with QT Marshall or something to work on his actual wrestling skills, in a couple years, the kid's still young, right? So in a couple years, he might be where we want him to be, match that character level. But yeah, right now something's lacking, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it was a good episode of Dark. Definitely didn't feel an hour long. Like I didn't feel like I was skimming through a lot of these matches. The matches were really good. Everything hitting on point. So really good episode of Dark. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. AEW Wrestling on YouTube. But let's get into this week's Power Rankings, week of July 1st, 2020. What do we got?
We had absolutely no changes from last week, so let's just rip through these. We still have our champions in the men's division, John Moxley and Cody. MJF still the number one contender, followed by Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Brody Lee, and Chris Jericho. In the women's division, we have our champ, Hikaru Shida, followed by our number one contender, Nyla Rose, who'll be fighting next week, Penelope Ford, Big Swole, Chris Statlander, and Britt Baker. In the tag team division, we still have our tag champs, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, best friends, number one contenders, followed by Dark Order, Young Bucks, Natural Nightmares, and Private Party. So no movement this week.
Good stuff. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite Wednesday, night one of Fyter Fest. Essentially, we started off the night. We were. It was announced that we were going to get Chris Jericho on commentary, which is always a good news. It's always a big deal. Liking that. He came out in the Canadian flag suit jacket. What'd you think of that? It was Canada Day.
Yeah, I was asking. Well, I was telling my wife earlier in the day, being Canada Day, I wonder what Chris Jericho is going to do. I'm sure he's going to do something special to at least mention it or bring focus to it. And he did it in a big way, coming out with the Don Cherry Canadian flag jacket. I thought it was really cool.
And I like how JR made light of that. Like he was just like, oh, Don Cherry, you took that out of Don Cherry's closet. And Jericho's like, yes, this was totally for Mr. Cherry and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. Like that JR would even know who Don Cherry is. I'm wondering if Jericho said, like, you got to say this. You got to say this.
Yeah, I wonder. Although, he's a big personality, so it wouldn't be totally out of the ordinary.
Not out of the ordinary, but I mean, he is a football guy. JR's a football guy. So,
right.
Maybe. But that's cool. That's cool if he does know who Cherry is. That's pretty sweet. I like that. All right. So we started off the night with our first match was going to be the MJF and Wardlow versus Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. There was a lot of backstory to this match with the whole MJF Jungle Boy feud going back all the way before quarantine and whatnot. Wardlow and Luchasaurus have had their differences leading up to this, so this was kind of a big match.
Yeah, it totally was. I was pumped to see this match because just everybody in this match is athletic, and when MJF is your kind of least athletic guy, then it's going to be an exciting match.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think of this one?
I thought this match was really good, really good. There was a few kind of scary spots there. I don't like when Luchasaurus does that second rope swanton to the outside, like he almost killed himself again. I think we talked about that in one of the first episodes of the podcast, where Luchasaurus almost dies.
Yeah,
I think that's something that he needs to take out of his repertoire. It's not worth it. He's gonna hit the back of his head on the apron sooner or later, and it's not gonna end well. So
yeah, he always kind of has an awkward fall from it, and then he's so big that people can't brace him.
Yeah,
even a Wardlow, you're coming with too much velocity. I think he hurt himself on this one.
I think
unless
so
he was
too.
really selling well, but
I think so too. I think he hurt himself a couple times in this match, actually. But I mean, the match came off really well. It really went the way it should have. Even though we both picked MJF and Wardlow, I should mention that I did kind of call that, but I didn't put up any bonus points on the line, unfortunately. But Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, they get the win. They pinned Wardlow. And already on Twitter, MJF is all over that the fact that he didn't lose that match, Wardlow did. So yeah. It begins. There was
some arguing earlier.
Yeah. can't you do anything right? And I like that whole spot where Luchasaurus kicks the arm and it punches Wardlow. Like everything to the finish of this match was like really well done. It was a good match. It was a really good match.
I thought it was really good too.
Moving on, we had a little segment where it was announced that we're gonna get this puppy battle royale next week. Like, what were your initial thoughts of this? Like, to me, it's just like Jimmy Fallon does the Super Bowl predictions with the puppies every year. You know what I mean? So I think being in the football realm, Tony Khan, Jacksonville Jaguars, that they're just trying to incorporate. I mean, it's gonna bring in viewers, I can tell you that, but it's kind of.
Yeah. I kind of thought the same thing as you. You know, a way of predicting some sort of winner. You know, they do it in soccer as well.
Right.
But I don't know. If your demographic, if you're Chris Jericho and you're saying your demographic is 18 to 47 or whatever it was, I don't know that you're interested in a puppy battle royal, but I don't know. Maybe it's get more females
maybe
into the wrestling.
I think that's what it is. Because what girl doesn't like puppies rolling around? But I'm interested to see how it's going to work.
What boy doesn't like puppies rolling around?
like puppies or puppies?
Yeah. That was a vanilla reference.
Yeah, vanilla reference, like an old vanilla reference. Leave it in the comments below if you knew what I was talking about there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's allowed to say that anymore. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. This might be the last podcast ever, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we might have to beep that out.
Yeah. But I wonder how it's gonna work. Are they just gonna have like an area, throw 7 puppies in, and the last one standing is the prediction? Like, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do.
But is there even a battle royal to predict?
Well, no. I think it's I think they're predicting the Moxley Brian Cage match.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe they'll have like
a 4
collar.
Yeah, 4 red collars, 4 blue collars. You know. And we'll see what happens. But I don't know. It's interesting nonetheless. After that, we get some action outside of the ring. We have Joey Janela came and attacked Archer and Jake outside of the ring. They had a little scuffle. Not the best of pull apart situations that we've seen AEW do, but they're doing anything they can to build some heat on this match coming up next week. What'd you think of this little scuffle?
I couldn't stop looking at Jake's teeth, to be honest.
He's got some work done, man.
It reminded me of Ross on Friends, like
that
one episode.
Yeah, right. They're too white.
Yeah.
And and the way he smiles, it shows them off, man. He's like,
yeah. But I mean, I'm glad they're trying to do something, because I don't know, it seems a bit like an odd match to have on the Fyter Fest. So I mean, I'm glad they did it.
I'm wondering if, because like on Dark, Joey attacked Lance after his match. He had like a leaf blower, awkward. I don't know if they just kind of saw it in the back and they're like, yeah, just use this or something like that. And then there's the attack on the outside of the ring. I don't think any weapons were really used, but I mean, outside of the ring, like I wonder if we're going to get to next week and this is all of a sudden a no DQ match or something.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, is there any sort of stipulations to this match?
As far as I know right now, I don't think there is, but
okay.
I could see the history of Joey Janela, the history of Lance Archer. Like, these two could probably pull off a no DQ match. So
yeah. Cool.
All right, let's move on to the second matchup of the night. Our first title match of the night. We have AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida going up against challenger Superbad Penelope Ford. This is one of the most anticipated matches of the night. I could argue match of the night. It was up there.
Would agree with you.
We had high hopes. We had really high hopes going into this match. When we compared it to Shida versus Rose, we had a lot of Rose and Ford versus Statlander and Shida, and how Rose and Statlander just didn't work well together. We saw that at the Revolution match. It was always Ford and Shida working together that was really keeping these matches going and flowing and entertaining to watch. So now that we're getting them one-on-one and with the title on the line, I had really high expectations for this match and exceeded all expectations. This match worked so well. My only criticism is one too many false finishes. I felt like, Penelope reversed the Falcon Arrow, got the pinning predicament, and then she kicks out of it later. It just didn't seem necessary. And then all for her to just sit up and then get the knee into the finish, and that's what finishes her. I think if it was just got the second Falcon Arrow, 1, 2, 3, would have did so much more. Kind of less is more situation for this. But otherwise,
right.
Great match. What were your thoughts on it?
I thought Penelope actually out-wrestled Shida in this one. She was the woman of the match. Even though she's... I don't even know how to explain it really well. It's like she doesn't have the power to do some of the moves sometimes. Like, it does seem a bit choreographed, but I thought she did a really better job in this match of not kind of showing that. One of my favorite spots was when she did the bridge, when Shida came off the top ropes for that splash, and then she went right into a stunner, which props for Shida. Like, she really took that stunner really well. It was a really good combination. So yeah, like I mean, I was always on Penelope Ford, not necessarily for her wrestling
Right?
abilities, but now like she's really impressing me with the wrestling. And I'm gonna agree with Chris Jericho. I see her as a champion.
Oh, for sure.
But like soon, but like really soon. So yeah, it was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, for sure. It was up there. Like I said, these two worked really well together, and yeah, I don't know. We can't say anything else from this. All that was missing was the Poison Rana off the springboard Poison Rana that Penelope Ford likes to do. I think that's all that was missing from this match, which I always like to see happen. So yeah.
What did you think of the Kip Sabian interrupt? The setup for all that.
Let's go back to the beginning. I like how they did the spot at the beginning and Aubrey kicks him out. And because this was kind of the thing, it's just like, if this is a one-on-one match, this is going to Shida, but if somebody else gets involved, look for Penelope Ford to get the win. And yeah, Aubrey right away kicks him out. So when he comes back, it wasn't really surprising, but it is a surprise. What's he doing out here? I like how they played it off, where does Shida kick the kendo stick out of his hands or just kicks him in the stomach and he throws it up, but then she catches it and smokes him with it. I thought all that worked really well. It was still enough of a distraction that Penelope Ford got the upper hand out of it. She got a signature move out of it, got a pinfall or a pinning predicament. Shida kicks out, obviously. I think it all works well. It told the story. I have nothing wrong with Kip coming back and getting involved.
Yeah, and we've complimented him in past weeks about how he always works really well with the ladies, and I thought it was a good point to put him in there. And it kind of swerved me when Penelope goes for the belt. Like, I thought she was walking away. I'm like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, this is interesting. And then it was, just leading into the distraction. So I thought it was a good lead in and executed really well.
Yeah, for sure.
I like how he just chucks that kendo stick in the air. Eh?
Yeah.
Like it looked bad, but good.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, for sure. I just like how Shida catches it. It's not like it fell to the ground and she picked it up. Like he threw it up in a way where she could spot it, catch it, smokes him. Like everything was really, really smooth. So yeah, it was a good. Everything about this was good. It was good.
Yeah, there was no real high points to really talk about, but it was just a really good wrestling match.
Well executed. Okay, well, let's move on to our second championship matchup of the night, of the event, really, because we're going to get a couple more later on. We have the TNT Championship match, Cody versus Rock Hard Jake Hager.
Excuse me?
I mean,
What did you say? Rock Hard?
that's what Justin said. This must be his Bellator fighting nickname. I mean, do we need to talk about
Do you think
this?
Catalina gave him this name?
For her sake, I hope so, but
Yeah, I caught that too, and I was just like, what the F is this about?
I mean, not the best moniker, call sign, nickname, whatever. He's not even rock hard, man. He's soft hard, if anything.
Yeah,
He's a big guy and he's got muscles, but I mean, it's not like he's shredded. You know what I mean? Like, if I were if I were to compare him to, on a scale of Trent to Chucky T, like he's Chucky T. Is that a good 100%. Scale? Like, do you understand what I'm going with?
I totally understand. I mean, like, so first off, I'm blown away that Mike Posey, I had to look up, is the referee for this match.
The other ref. He is the other
was
ref.
Was it a dark match? Like, what's going on? And then Rock Hard Jake Hager, I was like, this isn't gonna be a good match. I just knew right there this isn't gonna be a good match. What did you think of the match?
It was okay. It was better than Hager versus Dustin for sure, and that's all props to Cody. But
I think we can stop comparing that. We can just honestly say right now that was the worst match in AEW.
Dustin versus Hager? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could make the argument that Statlander versus Rose could be there. And it's unfortunate that they're both from the same night at Revolution. But we need to let it go.
Yeah. All right.
Worst matches of all time. But this wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. It was what it was. It went off the way I think they wanted it to. But I think there's just there's a talent gap there that hasn't, caught up yet, being Hager. It's getting better. This was probably his best performance, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not there for me yet. I think Cody could have worked better with a handful of other guys.
So if I understand what they were after, it was like they were trying to do this like a Ultimate Fighter match. Like there wasn't a lot of wrestling in there. There's a lot of holds, chokes and.
Well, I think the story they were really going for was that these are both very well accomplished amateur wrestlers. Like Hager was a Div 1 undefeated whatever at Oklahoma State. Cody, it's been well documented that he was an undefeated high school wrestler in the state of Georgia. I think he won state 2 years in a row. his junior and senior year. So I think that's what they were going for, is that, you know, these are amateur wrestlers and they're going to actually wrestle, not wrestle, if you want to use that old term or that old comparison. So, and that's very much what they did. Yeah, it was a lot of chain wrestling. It was a lot of holds and submission attempts. And funnily enough, it doesn't end in a submission after all of that. You think that's kind of where it was headed, but
Well, it kind of did though,
I guess it.
right?
Yeah,
Like Jake thought he won with that choke.
that's true. I kind of forgot that point. But yeah, it was the choke that he's been putting people to sleep with, but then Cody kind of rolls it over and gets the 1-2-3 out of it. That's right. So yeah, it's an interesting finish.
What do you think about this idea that Cody's a cheater? Because that's what Chris Jericho, he said it at the beginning of the match with the whole Arn Anderson being a part of the match, and then Dustin comes in and hits Jake. Right. Is this a thing that we're gonna see now? Is that maybe he's not a legitimate champion? Because
that could be the story going forward. I wonder if this is a setup for Jericho to feud with Cody while we're waiting for this Mike Tyson thing to unfold. After this Orange Cassidy thing blows over, is Jericho gonna come after Cody? For taking out Hager. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they're waiting on that Tyson for a pay-per-view, right?
Probably.
Like they're not giving that away.
Yeah, I think they want fans in the crowd for that and stuff. So, I don't know. I don't think I even really paid attention to what Jericho was saying, other than the fact that that's classic heel Jericho on the commentary, right? Where people get up on the apron and then he calls it out as cheating. That's just something he does. So I don't think I thought about it too much further than that. But yeah, okay. It's definitely something there now that you brought it.
And then Jake attacks
Posey there. Yeah, the other ref. I thought.
Do you think this is the reason why Posey was in the match? Was just to take the bump?
I would bet. Maybe they had a meeting and they're like, who wants to take this punch from Hager? And Bryce Remsburg threw up his hand faster than the Hurricane came to the ring, and they're just like, dude, sit down. You've done enough in this organization.
No, they did the whole anybody,
yeah. Anybody else.
Rick Knox is like,
no, I took a table.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's turn. No, yeah, I definitely think that's why the other ref was in there. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah. Posey walked in late and he got assigned the job.
Right.
You're gonna take a punch from him.
Yeah. They did Last Nose Goes, and he was he was on his phone in the back. Oh, what's going on? Oh, shit. I gotta get punched by Rock Hard Jake Hager. I'd be embarrassed. If I got punched out by a guy named Rock Hard.
Oh, man. He chose the blue pill.
He was wearing blue shorts. Did not look good.
No. Yeah, he should have kept the camo.
The camo was way better. Yeah. All right, we've spent enough time on this debacle of a match, so let's move on. We had a video package from Darby Allin showing off some more skateboarding skills. It seems to be the reoccurring theme with his recovery videos is that he's skateboarding more. What did you think? Pretty standard Darby Allin stuff, I think.
Backflip onto the skateboard on the rail. I thought that was pretty badass. I don't know a lot about skateboarding, but I'm thinking that's probably hard.
Well, not something that someone would pull out in competition by any means, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. He's done better. He's done better videos.
I like the mysterious, ambiguous videos more. You know, where he's like wearing a mask of whoever he's feuding with. That, mind you, he's not medically cleared for competition, so he has got nobody to feud with. He's got to do something. But I mean, you did the skateboarding thing. Let's try something else. This is kind of getting into that being the elite section, where it's just like we need something else. We need something different. So.
Yeah,
he's a creative guy.
It would have been cooler if they would have did more of the. They showed a little bit of clips of him backyard wrestling. I think some of those guys are his brothers or maybe friends or something.
Okay.
They did the whole kind of drop kick. Yeah, maybe if they would have done more of that kind of stuff instead of the skateboarding. Just not sure the wrestling audience will necessarily relate to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't. I mean, it looks okay, but
like I said, it was cool.
I thought it was Tony Hawk at the beginning. I didn't even know it was Darby, just the way that the angle it was shown at. So
okay. Tony Hawk's like 6'4", right?
I know, I realize.
Darby Allin's like 5'5".
I was watching while I was doing this.
Okay. Yeah, definitely need something different. Skateboarding thing's cool. You did it. We know you're a skateboarder. Let's try something else. That's my take.
Just keeping them relevant, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next matchup of the night. We had Proud and Powerful versus Private Party. This match was really good as well. This is one of the match of the nights for me, up there. While this match was going on, in hindsight, I was like, I picked wrong. Like, I don't know what I was thinking when we did the predictions last week. It's just it was so obvious while the match was going on that Private Party was going to win this match. They had everything going for them. They have Matt Hardy, who's the new Michael Hayes. He's mentoring these guys. So they got the vet. They're coming off of a loss on the Dynamite before. Santana and Ortiz were their mentors in New York when they were training and coming up. Where they were training is where Santana and Ortiz came from. So they've worked together before. So this is kind of a passing of the torch moment. And it was just like, man, Proud and Powerful had no chance of winning this match. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was trying to throw you a bone subconsciously. But yeah, I threw this one away. That's all there was to it. Was this...
Yeah.
Sorry, was this the match that Orange Cassidy comes out to commentary?
Yeah.
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 So go ahead. What did you think of this segment, this match, everything that went into it?
Well, as you're saying that, I'm wondering why I made my pick in the main event. Because I'm pretty sure a few weeks ago, my whole thing was we have to have Private Party versus Pussy Pants Adam Page. Yeah. Now, I don't think we knew this when we made the predictions, is that the winner of this faces the winner. And maybe if I had known that, I might have picked differently.
I think I would have too.
That's here nor there. So, yeah, I was like, again, no real huge high spots. Although, like, there was combinations out the yin yang. I mean, not high spots in that these guys do this stuff regularly, so it's not really a high spot for them. Yeah, really good match. Really enjoyed it. And you could tell these guys have worked together before.
Oh, for sure. Everything was smooth.
Yeah.
Everything was really smooth. Yeah, let's talk about Orange Cassidy joining commentary. Jericho did not like it at all. Excalibur being the opposing voice to Jericho in this whole thing. He was just like, he's not even doing anything. That's the point, Excalibur. You dumbass, and all this shit. Like, it's amazing how much Orange Cassidy can get done in the realm of storytelling and wrestling and not do jack shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just proves the talent that this kid has. You could throw anybody else into that character, it doesn't work. But he makes it work.
But I mean, Jericho makes a lot of this part of the show, because if Jericho doesn't keep mentioning it, then we forget about it.
Very much.
And I love how Jericho's doing the whole, all right, I just got to focus on my job. I'm here to do commentary. So,
and then it's like 2 seconds later, he mentions it again.
Yeah.
Why don't you say something, you idiot?
and I liked how Cassidy came out with the shirt he wore last week with all the blood on it.
I didn't notice that.
Good touch. Yeah, it was a good touch.
That is a good touch. He's probably only got one, so.
Well, and he wouldn't wash it, right? Because
it's too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much work. Yeah, great match. Private Party gets over on this one. I forget how this finished. They got the gin and juice. That's right.
Yeah, and probably the best gin and juice we've seen.
Yeah, which just goes to show that, I think it was Ortiz that took it, or was it Santana? I can't remember, but they've definitely taken it before, and the timing was there. Yeah, it's the best that move's looked. Yeah, and then it was announced shortly after this, or just before it, that
no, I think it was right after.
It was right after that the Moxley cage match was being postponed 2 weeks. It will happen for the Fight for the Fallen event. And the new main event for night 2 is going to be the Tag Team Championship match again. So the winners, Private Party, will go on to face the winners of the championship match that we're going to talk about here in a second. Omega, Page versus Best Friends. Which is, this was a big deal. And that brings us right into, after that announcement, out comes Taz and Brian Cage, to put their 2 cents in on the Moxley situation. This promo, I don't know what it was. It was almost the same promo that he did last week, which I was kind of critical on. I was just like, man, you can't say stuff like that. Just the choice of words, the better execution, it came off properly in a way. Best promo from Taz so far in AEW. This was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the crowd going, whoa,
yeah.
Like every time you say something. What did he say the excuse was for not being there?
I don't think
he had shitty pants or something. I don't know. He had the shits or something like that. I don't know. Well, it was something to that degree. It was pretty funny.
I don't even remember hearing that. I noticed that he, instead of calling it like some bullshit excuse like he did last week, he says what it was. Like, he made acknowledgement that he's staying home for COVID concerns, but you've been tested twice at home and you would get tested again when you got here. It's time to step up and come to work, kind of thing. I thought was really cool. And the best part of the promo for me was right after this. He's like, you'd get tested once you got here because AEW doesn't run no sloppy shit. And he kind of pauses and looks right at the camera. The camera's up real close. And I was just like, oh, shit. And sure enough, it was like within the hour, within the show ending, everything's like Vince is mad at Taz for his comments on WWE, not happy with AEW. And it's just like, well, fuck, man. You guys had a 30, I think the number's up to like 36 now. 36 people that work for, wrestle for, part of the production teams, anybody down in Orlando have COVID. Like, you're doing something wrong. So I loved that Taz threw that shot in. Some might say, you know, going back to, sorry, I can't talk about WCW. I used that already, but
save it for next time.
Save it for next time. But anyways, it was great promo.
I'm pretty sure Taz says he was diagnosed with the chicken shits.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This was his best work in AEW so far.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And I mean, with Moxley gone, there's not a lot of room for the build of this match, even though it's already kind of really hyped up from what they got done before he ended up staying home. So for Taz to come out and really, you know, put this match on his shoulders, really, and keep it hyped up, he's doing a great job. I'm still.
Do you think we're going to hear from Moxley next week?
Yeah, I think he's got to do something. He's got to send in a video promo or something. There's got to be something done. There's got to be an answer.
Yeah.
But now that we have a 2-week extension until we see that, you know, it's got to happen. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, again, just to reiterate, the Moxley Cage AEW Championship match will not happen next week at Fyter Fest. It got moved to 2 weeks away for the Fight for the Fallen event, which is always it's always a big deal for AEW. Last year they donated a bunch of money. All the ticket sales and stuff went to gun violence in Jacksonville. This year they're doing it for COVID relief. They mentioned that the Khan family have already donated like $1 million to COVID relief charities, and during the show, fans and anybody can donate. There'll be like a toll-free number or something that you'll be able to get in touch with and donate to COVID relief. So, Fight for the Fallen, big event. Can't wait for that 2 weeks from now. But let's move on to the main event of this night. Best Friends versus Omega and Paige for the AEW Tag Team Championship. I don't even have words for this match because it was so good. Yeah. These four worked so well together. The only thing I can say is that we didn't get a last call. It was teased, it was missed, and it ends up being the Deadeye making a comeback, which I wasn't mad at. I like the Deadeye; it's a cool move. But yeah, this was a great match. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought it was Best Friends' best match in
for sure.
AEW. And I'd even say that Chucky T was the man of the match for me.
He has been for a while.
Yeah. Even though like Kenny's up there, like Kenny took a lot in this match.
He was bumping.
Yeah.
He took a couple of head dumps.
Yeah, just all around good match. Yeah, we could say it's the match of the night. I like the ladies' match just because I was so not thinking it would be that good. And then when it turned out to be that good, I was just like, wow.
Right. Where this one, you expected this to be good.
Yeah. Like not Young Bucks good, but I mean, Best Friends, even from like how they came out, whether that's a rib at FTR or it's just them, hey, we're like little kids getting driven to the match by our moms. Like, I don't know. It was all just really well done.
Let's talk about Mrs. Beretta. What was her name? Okay. Sue?
I didn't catch it.
Oh,
Was he
JR.
sued?
JR said her name because she comes out and she's sitting in the crowd, right? And they put the camera on her and she's cheering, "Let's go, Trent!" Woo! But I mean, she did so good. Like, she drives the car in, and you think that's all it's gonna be, and then she calls him back. She's like, "Trent, get over here, give me a kiss. Good luck, honey." Like, she did so good. If that's his real mom, fucking props to her. She did so good.
I would, just based on what we've seen out of AEW, I'm guessing that's probably his real mom.
Yeah, for sure. But I like how he...
And you know what? And I have to say, I was totally, like, I was fist pumping already because I'm like, oh, his mom's there?
Can't
Oh,
lose
they're
it.
totally winning the title.
Can't lose in
in
front
front
of
of
your
his
mom.
mom.
Yeah. The only thing that would have sealed the deal is if it was hometown advantage.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, it was a great match, great entrance by Best Friends. I definitely think that's a dig at FTR. Yeah, I don't know.
What did you think about FTR joining this match and how they did it?
I was confused in a way because it's like, yeah, you're here to take over the tag team division. We get that, but you have your own storyline going right now. It's almost like they're doing too much. I get that they're trying to insert themselves into championship talks, you know, especially after the match is over. They come in the ring and they offer them beers and everything like that. But I think it's just like you have your own storyline to worry about right now. I guess with Young Bucks coming out, it kind of is just part of the same story. But I don't know. If I were booking, I probably would have just let it be. But
Yeah.
we'll see how it plays out next week.
I'm glad they didn't let them talk on commentary. I think that would have took away from Best Friends, and they deserved this match.
Yeah,
they
for
deserved
sure.
the main event.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They showed them a couple of times, but then at the end of the match, like, it wasn't about them anymore. Like, even in loss, I think, even in showing them walking up the ramp, or, you know, Kenny does a lot of that, like, handshakes and stuff at the end, and they didn't even get that. To me, it's a little bit of a slap in the face, and you're right. It's they didn't need to be here.
They didn't.
It's not their rivalry. It's not their feud right now. But I thought JR did a good job of, you know, is Kenny gonna drink this beer like he's, you know, straight edge, and he pours it out, and JR goes, well, must not have been Canadian beer.
Yeah.
I thought that was a real good touch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, JR has always been good at that kind of stuff. Keeping everything not relevant, but getting everything to make sense. So yeah, that's good stuff. Again, match of the night. One of the matches of the night. The girls' match was really good. Paige and Omega retain. They squeaked this out. There's a lot of near finishes in this match. There's a lot of times where I thought Best Friends were gonna go over. They hit the ground zero, cold zero. I always forget what the name of that move is called.
Strong zero.
Strong zero. Good call. Which I think, now that I'm sitting here and kind of replaying everything in my head, the strong zero, essentially just a tag team version of the Deadeye. So it almost makes sense that that's the way Hangman ends the match, is by doing the Deadeye. It's kind of that reverse tombstone pile driver, if you will. Like, I don't even know how you describe what that move is. But instead of having the assistance of Chucky T, which Hangman kicks out of, you know,
Right.
Hangman does it himself and gets the win. It almost makes his move look stronger now. But
Right. Yeah, I think that's the one that I really thought Best Friends had it.
yeah,
Because Chucky T is like right on top of Hangman and has his legs. I'm like, there's no way he could kick out of that.
and
Yes.
he blocks Kenny, like Kenny's coming in for the save, and there's the block, like everything leading into that 3 count. I was just like, yeah, they got it. They're giving it to them. But then, Paige kicks out right away, or like on 2 3/4 or whatever. So yeah, it's just everything about this match is really good. Aside from the FTR involvement. But we'll see how that plays out next week because of how the Young Bucks came out to restore order and whatnot. It might play out a little differently next week. But
Right.
it is what it is. So yeah, that is night 1 of Fyter Fest. Let's take a look at our predictions and how we did. Looking at the first matchup, we had MJF versus Wardlow, or MJF and Wardlow versus Jurassic Express. I believe we both took Wardlow and MJF on that one. We both got that wrong. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but not a good start to the night for us.
It's a rare miss for us.
It was a rare miss for us, but I mean, it could have went either way. That was a coin flip. Match. Penelope Ford versus Hikaru Shida. We both had Shida retaining this one, although Penelope Ford did make a case for her as a future champion and definitely has Jericho's backing. But we both picked Shida for that one, so we're sitting at 1-1 at this point. Jake Hager versus Cody. We both picked Cody, but there was a lot of bonus points on the line on this one. You had bonus point. I gave you a 1-to-1 bet that you wanted Cody to bleed, and I said if he doesn't, because it's pretty obvious that he would, that you would have to lose a point, which he did not bust open, which was like super surprising. I thought you had that for sure.
Right.
But that basically negates your point on that one. And my bonus point is that Brandy and Catalina would get involved in some way. I don't even think Brandy was out there. She on the railing.
Out, no.
She was at the railing though. She was in the crowd with Ali, I think. But yeah, she wasn't.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she doesn't
It
get
sounds like
involved.
something I remember. Was she wearing a bikini?
No, she was not.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I don't remember.
So anyways, I didn't get a bonus point for that. So as we stand, it is 2-1 because you lost that point. Getting into Proud and Powerful and Private Party, we were split on this one. I had Proud and Powerful, you had Private Party. You get your point back.
I look like a genius on this match.
Yeah, you did. And like I said, like in hindsight, and especially if I would have known that the match switch, I think we both would have picked our picks a little differently. But it is what it is. I picked Proud and Powerful. You picked Private Party. So you get your point back. It's 2-0 going into the last matchup of the night. And with Best Friends versus the champions, Omega and Paige, I picked the champions to retain. I didn't think it was Best Friends time. You felt it was Best Friends time. But again, similar to the other match, I think you would have picked differently knowing how everything was going to end up be playing out. And I get the point.
Yeah. And you know what? I just think that if you're going to call this Fyter Fest, it's going to be like a pay-per-view type of idea that you can't be afraid of having the title flip, even though it's a Dynamite kind of show. So I thought that, this was going to be the one if we were going to see that to happen.
Right.
So I'm a little disappointed that we haven't had a title change, but I don't know. Maybe next week.
So I think Rose over Riho at the beginning of the year is the only time a championship has changed hands on Dynamite, aside from the AEW Women's Championship being decided on the first ever Dynamite. But I mean, you could argue that first episode of Dynamite was a pay-per-view in a way, like it was that important. You know what I mean? Right, so, but other than that, yeah. Tag team tag team titles changed hands on a Dynamite, but I think that was the boat, right?
They're kind of special episodes.
Yeah, they're always special episodes in a way, but I know what you're saying. I think it's time that we get like a big surprise upset win for a belt, you know?
I just remember when we watched Vanilla Brand and there was a title change on a Raw. Like, to me,
That was a big deal.
that was cool.
Yeah.
It made watching Raw something, because you just never know what's going to happen. So
I gotta think.
I'm just thinking of excuses now for losing. So
Well, it's not over yet. We still have a whole night 2, which we'll get into here right away. But yeah, let's just get right into it here.
yeah, let's start doing some predictions.
Okay, so let's get into night 2 predictions for Fyter Fest. We're gonna start off with the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer against the bad boy Joey Janela.
This is my pick first.
Sure.
This is a tough one. I think this is a coin flip. I could see story-wise being good to go either way, but I think they have to keep Lance strong. So I'm gonna go Lance Archer.
Okay. So I agree with you. This could go either way with different storyline implications. I'll leave it to you to offer me bonus points for what I'm about to say. I'm not going to claim any bonus points, but if you want to give me some, that's cool. I'm picking Lance Archer. Okay. However, if this is deemed a no DQ match, I think Lance Archer wins clearly. I think it just ends up being a complete beatdown of Joey Janela in a way. But if this match stays like sanctioned, like normal rules apply, I could see Lance Archer going overboard, getting DQ'd, and Joey Janela winning. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. So what do you get in the bonus on?
That's up to you. To me, if I were to give myself a bonus point, I say that this becomes a no DQ match at the start of the show.
No DQ and Lance
winning.
Squash? Kind of idea?
Not a squash, but I mean, yeah, he's going to dominate the match to a point where Joey's just a pulp in the middle. Oh, I should have saved that pun for Orange Cassidy. Shit! But yeah, if this stays a normal match, I mean, this is very much like my MJF Jungle Boy Luchasaurus winning. This is just kind of like what I think could happen. If this stays a regular match, Lance Archer beats Joey Janela to the point where he gets DQ'd, or the match is just stopped. You know what I mean? Like, there might not even be a finish to this match. I think but either way, this is just going to be a complete pummeling of Joey Janela, is my prediction. But definitely, I think this could go to no DQ, and I guess that's where I would say my bonus point is.
Okay.
All right.
I got it.
Let's move on to the Nyla Rose. She's in action. We don't know who she's going to be facing. It's pretty much up in the air. Surprise. She also has some kind of announcement. She has something planned. The exact words that the guys use, I don't even know how we can predict this. Like, I don't know. This is almost...
It's your pick first, so... We could eliminate this one from the predictions.
We could.
But we have predicted a TBA before.
Yeah.
Which you did win.
Yeah.
And got a bonus point on it.
And got a bonus point for winning. Yeah. I don't know of any. I haven't heard of any other female wrestlers. That have been signed or in talks other than Tessa Blanchard. It sounds a lot like that WWE's going after her. They want to do this Flair, Blanchard, Four Horsemen rivalry. It seems to be the talks. I don't think it'll be Tessa. But, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't put a name. I think, if I'm being true to myself, I think they just bring out a Red Velvet, a Skylar Moore, just one of these female jobbers that have been working on Dark lately. Rose wins, and then whatever her announcement is, I have no idea. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm really in the same boat as you. I don't know how likely it is that it's going to be a signing that we're going to face. She's going to face this kind of big name and end up losing.
Good if it is. It'd be awesome.
I mean, good if it is. I doubt it will be. Your whole thing about Tessa Blanchard and Charlotte Flair, that sounds gold. I would watch that. So I don't know if it's likely that she'll come to AEW. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Nyla Rose, but I'm not gonna make a prediction on who it is.
Yeah, neither can I.
It's a tough one.
I mean, if it comes in and it's a name, an established name of some sort, it could be a Velvet Sky, from old TNA. Like it really could be anybody. But
yeah,
if it was
this is a Nyla Rose announcement, right? So
Yeah.
they can't even do like an Anna Jay pledging Dark Order, because that kind of takes away from Nyla Rose.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't even know what it could be.
Yeah, I think we just don't even try to predict who it's going to be. It's going to be one of the current jobbers in AEW, and Nyla wins, and she says whatever her announcement is. I say we don't even try to take a stab at that either. So
No.
Points.
I'm not even going for bonus points because I go in the minus.
So, I mean, I guess either way, because we both picked Nyla Rose to win whatever she goes up against, this is basically a scratch anyways. So, it is what it is. But at least it's on the record. Let's move on. We have the 6-man tag match, SoCal Uncensored, Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels versus the Dark Order, Brody Lee, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana. What do you think? Or is this back? Yeah,
this is my pick, eh?
Yeah.
I am going to pick what I want to see rather than what I think will actually happen. I want to see this Colt Cabana story go further, and I think by it going further, they need the win to be convincing Colt that this is the way to go.
Yeah.
So I'm going Cabana and Dark Order.
I'm also taking Cabana Dark Order. Not because I want to see, because I think this is just the way it needs to be. I just think that this is the way they're going. So I don't think SoCal has a chance here. As weird as that is to say. But
okay.
Yeah, I think this is Dark Order all the way. All right, let's keep rolling. We have freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
This is your pick.
This is my pick. Yeah, shit. we talked about this quickly last week, how this is just like it. Neither of them need a win, but I want to go out on a limb. I want to go out on a limb and say Orange Cassidy. But fuck it. Orange Cassidy, Ferda.
Wow.
I think this match is going to end up a lot like the Pineapple Pete match, where Cassidy just comes out and he's like pushing the pace and stuff like that, and Jericho maybe gets one move in and maybe, but whatever. But I think I don't know. I have a feeling. It's gonna be Cassidy. I'll take Cassidy. I might have just threw away the whole event, but
yeah, I mean, so our arguments last week were that these guys are both so over.
right.
But if anybody would need to be over, it would be Cassidy, right? Just because Jericho is the veteran.
Jericho has the history.
Now this is pick 4 of 6, and I need to gain some points because I'm behind. So I'm gonna pick Jericho on this one. I think you're probably right, but I'm gonna try to get the
Yeah, essentially we picked the same, so you need to do something different, right?
and I mean storyline wise, I think Jericho could work. So this is how I'll try to get a point back.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. It doesn't make sense that Jericho loses to Orange Cassidy and then, he goes on to face Cody for the championship, or, going on to a big match against Tyson, because then that doesn't really make sense. Like, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just have this feeling that Jericho is going to give one to Cassidy. Either way, I let you back into the game. We'll see. Let's move on to the 8-man tag match. FTR and the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade. I'm really excited about this match. You know me with 6-man tags and 8-man tags and the multi-man, multi-competitor matches. They never turn off well. But I mean, we got 8 really skilled, really exciting wrestlers. And like we mentioned last week, we have the contrasting styles where you have FTR, the wrestlers, with the Young Bucks, the high spots, versus Butcher and the Blade, the wrestlers, and the Lucha Brothers, the high spot monkeys. It's going to be interesting to see FTR work with the Lucha Brothers, the Butcher and the Blade to work with the Young Bucks, vice versa. Your pick.
Yeah. No, it's your pick first.
Well, I just picked Cassidy first.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. Let's go by. I mean, who I would want to win would be Lucha Brothers, obviously, but I think FTR can't lose yet. I don't see how it makes sense for them to do that. So, just so I don't look like a complete wrestling mark, I have to pick FTR and Young Bucks.
The only the only way I see. Oh man, am I really gonna throw this whole thing away right now? The match to happen is FTR Young Bucks. That's the match everybody wants to see. It's the match everybody's been waiting for like 4 years. Being the elite, #FTR, fuck the revival, all that stuff. We've been waiting for this match. It makes it really easy to go into that story is if at the last minute they stopped working together and the Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade steal a win. And now it's like, hey, it was your fault. No, it was your fault. But, God, for the sake of competition and me winning, I just want to take FTR and the Young Bucks.
What did you think I was going to pick?
I figured you were going to pick FTR Young Bucks for sure.
Oh, okay.
To me, it's the obvious choice. But holy smoke, like,
Butcher, I mean, what you're saying makes sense.
Butcher and the Blade have kind of drawn the short end of the stick ever since they came into AEW at the beginning of the year. You know, they're big, they're personalities, they have character, but they've been losing and losing and losing, and I don't know if they deserve that. Lucha Brothers coming back from the pandemic era, as it is for known as now, they kind of need a win to come back to, I don't know. I can't do it. I gotta take FTR Young Bucks. I'm gonna be so mad if Butcher and Blade win. Oh my lord. I want to take it so bad. But I can't lose. I gotta play this smart.
FTR can I change mine? Will you allow me to change mine?
I will allow you to change yours.
All right. You've convinced me on this story. I'm changing mine. If you'll allow it, I'll change it. I'm going Butcher, Blade, Lucha Brothers.
Okay, I'll allow it.
All right.
I think there are ways that they can still get into the FTR Young Bucks match with them winning, but it makes it really, really easy if they don't win. That's all there is to it. But I'm still going to take FTR Young Bucks. All right.
You could have just played me.
I could have just played you. I don't know. I mean, I was always told that I should be on Big Brother. I'm a manipulator. No. So again, I just have up on the screen here that the AEW Championship match was supposed to be night 2 of Fyter Fest. It has been moved to Fight for the Fallen, July 15th. Just wanted to throw that up there. Moxley versus Cage, July 15th, Fight for the Fallen. Our new main event is Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, AEW Tag Team Champions going up against the winners, now number 1 contenders, Private Party. Interesting matchup. This is the story that you've been, predicting for the last month and a half. So, I mean, I guess I got to pick first on this one.
Pick first, yeah.
I said last.
Talk her through what you're thinking.
I don't want to give anything away now. No. One of my main points last week of taking the champions to retain over the best friends is just that it really wasn't time. It didn't make sense. In a weird way, it makes sense for Private Party to take this one over. We get that change that we've been wanting. This is almost a happy accident that the championship match gets moved. There's a spot there for Private Party to snake this one out. But with it being a last minute thing, I gotta stick with Page and Omega. I think with when they lose the championships, that has to be the breakup, right? The breakup happens in the ring. They lose the match, and we go on from there. We haven't had any signs of that's going to happen. We haven't, they've been working really well together. Page and Omega retain.
It's a good thought process. My heart wants to stick with Private Party just because they at least kept me in this in night one.
Right.
But I think I agree with you in that the breakup needs to happen. If Private Party was to win, I feel like it wouldn't be a long reign.
No.
Because at some point in time, the Young Bucks need to have these belts. FTR needs to have these belts. And I don't know if they can just win them and lose them. So, like, there's probably 2 years of stuff right there.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So, but if I go Private Party, this gets me the win. Right? Because I'm down by 1.
Well, if Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade pull out for you, that'll tie us. And then this would be for the win.
Well, but I have Jericho over Cassidy.
I took Cassidy? Are you serious? Oh, my God.
All right, I'm doing Page Omega.
Oh, shit. All right. We will see what happens. Stay tuned for next week's episode to see how it all unfolds. Will Damien get his first win in a pay-per-view?
Comment predictions. Who you think is going to pull out the win?
Let us know your predictions for night 2.
I haven't won one yet, so if you pick Tally 006, it's probably a good bet.
I am only up I'm only up by 1, and I took Orange Cassidy, so I think I lost full on this one. I think I gave it away, but we will see. Yeah, we'll see next week. I'm excited for night 2 of Fyter Fest. But
it's as good as 1.
I think it'll be better. I think the talent. I mean, as good as Shida and Ford were, as good as Santana and Ortiz, Proud and Powerful and Private Party, Omega, Page versus the Best Friends. I really wish some of these tag teams would have names. It'd be easier. But as good as all those matches were, I just think there's potential here. The only really question mark on this card is the Nyla Rose and how that all is going to play out. But I think the Lance Archer match is going to be Archer versus Janelle is going to be, a bloodbath. I think it's going to be a massacre, so it's going to be entertaining in that way. And then you have all the awesome matches. Jericho, Cassidy's going to be good. The 8-man tag's going to be spectacular. And Private Party working with the Mega Cowboys.
Mega Cowboys.
The Mega Cowboys.
Did you just make that up?
No, I saw that online somewhere, but it's not official.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, exciting stuff. Night 2, Fyter Fest next week, July 8th. We will be covering it in detail just like we did tonight. Yeah, we'll see who wins. So good luck to you, sir.
Yeah, good luck to you. I mean, I need it. You don't.
I don't. Yeah, so, I mean, that was a good show. Lots of good content there. Leave it in the comments below what you liked, what you didn't like. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps us out. And, we'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace.
Go fuck yourself, Corvette. Piece of shit.